Black Friday morning, and welcome to another episode of the Lone Angler Podcast. If you're new here, I welcome you. If you're an old subscriber or a big fan, I thank you for coming back for each episode. I really, really appreciate it. Today's episode has me in the back room at Ridgetop Outdoors. Yeah, I stopped in there after work. We did a little after hours chat session with the owner, Justin Schuver, and his store ambassador, brand ambassador, Nathan Goltz. Nathan's from Bagley, Minnesota, fishes all over the place, and he's a good angler, and he's out there a lot. So what we talk about in this episode, give a little rundown of the ice conditions, how things are forming up here in the Bemidji area. Plus, this is Ridgetop's first ice season, so Justin kind of goes over what he's got in stock, and there's some Black Friday sales going on. So if you're around the Bemidji area, you should stop in there. Definitely got some cool deals going on. So before we get into it, I want to thank Panfish Pursuers P3 Plastics for helping out the Lone Angler. And because they help out me, I'm going to help you guys out with a code, SPUG15. SPUG15 gets you 15% off of everything that you put in your cart. So I would suggest you get in there, pick out the colors you need, and they've got a lot of them. Sometimes I think it's too many, and that's just because I get lost. I'm old, okay? I have a hard time keeping track of what I've got going on. So code SPUG15, 15% off your total order. Doesn't matter if it's just all baits and groove boxes, catch boards and baits, whatever. SPUG15, 15% off your total order. Big thank you to Della Bay Rods for helping out the Lone Angler. Yeah, head on over there to dellabay.com. Get yourself a couple new panfish sticks for sure. Oh, they also make a smoking burbot stick too. And I got a little code for you on that one too. It's LAPFREE, all caps, one word, LAPFREE. And what that'll do is get you free shipping on your new rods. That's right. Shipping ice rods is a little tricky, and it can be a little bit expensive, so it's going to save you a few bucks. So definitely head over to Della Bay Rods, give those guys a look. Treat yourself. Might even have some Black Friday sales going on over there. Also, hey, we're going to thank Ridgetop Outdoors. That's right. They're located just south of Lake Bemidji, on the corner of 72 or 71 and Highway 2, right there at the intersection. It's a great spot, lots of parking. There's a gas station right there. Awesome breakfast sandwiches. I should stop and give them a bill for this ad. But you can gas up your rig, but then you head over, right, like walk across the parking lot. Bam, there's Ridgetop Outdoors. Stop in there. He's got propane. He's got minnows. He's got some of the newest stuff from Northland Tackle. You know, Sam Larson was cool enough to come in here, and we talked a lot about the new coffin spoons and the Brobug spoon and stuff. Justin's got them. They got P3 Plastics there. Huge thank you to Ridgetop Outdoors, and definitely if you're coming up to Bemidji area to fish or coming through, stop there. I know you forgot something. We all forget something. That's going to be the place to stop and pick it up. All right. With all that being done, let's get into this episode. Hey, welcome, boys. How's it going? I'm here with Justin and Nate from Ridgetop Outdoors. What's going on, fellas?
Not too much, I guess. It's ice fishing time.
Well, what do you mean not too much? I mean, besides the immense amount of wind, which isn't helping matters, we do have some ice forming up here. Nate, have you been out?
I have been out a few times this year.
Really, already?
Yep. I was out Monday, Tuesday, and then again this morning.
Wow. So do you don't wait for Hot Pockets to cool off. You just start eating them right away as soon as it's done. Because that's kind of what it feels like. I mean, we literally got some ice on smaller lakes on like Sunday.
So the ponds, some of the ponds around here have been holding ice for over a week and a half. But, I mean, the lakes have had ice on the shore. I was actually out Sunday checking ice, and I did find 3.5 inches on Sunday. Closer to shore. You going out, there's 2, and then by Monday there was a good clear 3 inches ice.
Okay.
On some of the local lakes here in Bemidji, and then this morning it was up to 3.5. So I mean it's making ice slowly, but tonight's gonna be cold. It'll make ice.
It'll make ice, and it's windy though, man. That wind can play a factor, especially on big lakes.
Yeah, the bigger lakes, especially ones that do have some open water. So I was over in Walker today, and over by Whippold there, you could see the ice was just pushing across the lake that had formed already on that lake. But, then obviously Walker Bay is wide open. That one won't freeze for another couple weeks.
Right. Have you checked out the north end of Lake Bemidji yet?
I actually haven't been up there yet,
Yeah.
but
that north end always spooks me out because it's the last part of the lake to lock up. And it's also the deepest up that way.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's always sketch up there.
Yeah, it's pretty deep. Once you go out from the golf course there, you can go out a ways there. I mean, it gets pretty deep pretty quick.
Oh yeah. Justin, how was business during the fall? I know we talked a little bit about it the other day.
Yeah. I mean, with everybody out hunting and stuff, we had a good year for fall fishing, that's for sure. There was a lot of fish being caught and a lot of people fishing, and it was nice all the way into just a few weeks ago, really.
Yeah,
So.
you're kind of in that end of deer season, waiting for ice to form. Nobody's really doing much of anything. How are things looking as far as you having product here at the store?
Product, what I have is what I'm probably gonna have for the winter. That's the bad thing. It's the supply chain is terrible.
Yeah, you can elaborate on that more. I know that when I did the virtual ice show, that was a big part of the show, or a big part of the message was, these companies are getting what they can as soon as they can, and just I know a lot of people they'll buy direct from companies' websites if you can, but the main theme was to get in line or get it from your local retailer.
Mm-hmm.
And are you doing any sort of pre-order things here or anything like that? Not
yet. Just when I see it, it'll be here.
Well, is this your first ice season for the store here at Ridgetop?
Yep.
Okay.
And so I don't know where everything really plays out and what's gonna sell, what's not gonna sell for this winter. I mean, I know from personal experience kind of what I can see, but
right. So you obviously have some of the necessities here, but as people come in and ask for stuff, probably taking a mental note or writing down, hey, maybe next year I should get a little bit of this. I totally understand that, being a brand new business, and hey, I want to order 55 fish houses from 5 different companies, and you ain't got too much space for storing that stuff too. So,
but like I said, the supply chain there's some products that I haven't even seen yet that I ordered in the middle of October. It was supposed to be here, so it's going to be a rough. I mean, if I got it, if say to people, if you see it wherever you're at, they say to buy it. If you want it and you see it, you better get it, because it isn't going to be there next time you come in.
Yeah, that is another big theme throughout. I mean, all across the ice belt here. If you see something that you want, don't hesitate. Have the money on you and get it right away. How about you, Nate? Just traveling around and stopping in at other bait shops, or just getting your own personal stuff. Has it been kind of a challenge for you?
So actually today, I went all the way over to Walker hoping that they would have an ice shuttle for my Helix 8, and they don't. And I looked it up online. It's 12 weeks back order.
Yep.
So, and that just kind of plays the theme. So,
gonna
have to get creative.
It's kind of I'm a fisherman, so what I'm about to say, go ahead. You can send me hateful emails or whatever, but fishermen are such last minute people. And I always especially ice fishermen, every year there's going to be ice. I mean, I need this tomorrow. Well, you should have got it in September when it first rolled out.
I've got guys coming in daily. They come in, they wander, and they go, I'll be back when there's ice. It's like,
this year could
this year it's the hard. I mean, most years no problem, but this year's kind of tough.
And they might be in for a rude awakening. Well, I messaged you the other day. Hey, man, you got any of them Northland coffin spoons? Yep. And I immediately came down here right after work and bought a few of them. I'll probably pick a few more up here before I head out. You said you've already been out a couple times?
Yep.
Have you
3
caught
times.
anything?
I've had them chase, marked quite a few, but I mean, it's been really soft. I've had them bite. I've missed a couple. But I'm marking quite a few. Just, they won't open their mouth. I had one follow it all the way up to the top of the ice today. So.
Yeah. In my experience, I don't know. First ice, I usually like to give them a couple weeks to get kind of acclimated to their new winter residence, So I've never had the best of luck right away first ice, especially if we have no snow. And again, I fish a lot of super clear lakes. So if I don't have any snow, man, it gets to be a tough bite.
It can be. But there's something about hooking into them when you can see through the ice and watching the whole fight.
Yeah, if you can get them to go, I don't know. Me personally, I like it's kind of a catch-22 because I like to fish the clear ice or the clear water lakes because they lock up a little bit more solid, a little bit faster than the dark water ones because dark water holds a little more heat, in my understanding. At the same time, if you don't have any snow cover, your shallow water bite disappears, or you might have to be really, 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 really still.
Right. So this time of the year, when you do have thin ice, you can't always get, I can't get to exactly where I want to go, right? I'm just fishing a spot where I know to hold some fish. But I can't get to where I would like to go just because I'm not going to walk, a half mile across the lake when it's that thin. I'm going to stay somewhat close to shore. Yeah. And then back to the snow. So the snow can be, a double-edged sword, right? You get too much like we got 2 years ago. Yeah. And you saw what happened, right? We have water on top of the ice. It just
all year
that
long.
Ice. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I you know what? After we get a good 8 inches of ice or so, I don't mind a couple inches of snow.
Right.
Makes it a lot easier for walking on, too. The old groin muscles don't get they get a little bit of a break. When it's just glare ice, man, that can be a painful day.
Well, and when it's glare ice, make sure you have something on the bottom of your shoes that has traction because if you punch that hole, that water comes up. Let's say you're using a cordless drill, you're going to sit there and spin in circles.
It gets even a little bit more slippery. If ice is already slippery, we put a little water on it, things get spicy really fast. Absolutely, man. I got some Catula micro spikes. I like them. They kind of hurt my feet a little bit, but man, it sure is nice having those. But even there, even with those on, I've slipped a little bit.
Well, would you rather have your feet be a little bit sore or hit your funny bone on the ice or your head?
Crack my head wide open. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Well, Justin, how about you? Are you going to be able to sneak away here and get out and punch some?
Yeah, eventually. I'm not in no big hurry. I mean, I guess the way the weather's looking, we should have some pretty good ice. I mean, it's going to be slow, but it's looking like no snow and cold at night. So
cold at night, warmer during the day, which I don't know how much that's going to really play out. It all depends.
So a big part of that is our days aren't that long right now, right?
Right.
So even when it does warm up, it's only going to be warm for a couple hours tops.
Yeah, that is nice. That is nice. Yes. At the same time, I go to work in the morning at 6. It's dark. I leave the shop at 4:30, 4:45. I got about 10 minutes and it's dark. I start feeling like a vampire.
Right? Northern Minnesota.
Yeah, welcome to Minnesota.
Yeah. With Black Friday approaching, because that's when this is going to come out, you got any sales happening down here at Ridgetop?
Yeah, we got quite a bit. I'm not sure exactly what. My wife does all that. She was here. She was here. She would be telling you right away, but
rattling it all off. I get it, man. You're the guy that has to hold the fishing knowledge,
right? I know one's a buy $50 gift card, get $10 free.
Okay, that's a pretty good deal.
Some other things in there. I was gonna look and see, but maybe little bit here, I'll have it for you.
Yeah. How about you, Nate? The Black Friday shopping. Are you pretty much set up for the winter? Are you ready to go?
I'm ready
I
to
heard
rock.
you talking about
other than
you
the
wanted to-
Helix 8 shuttle, but
Yeah, and you were chirping somebody you want to buy another fishing rod.
oh yeah, always.
Always?
Don't you?
No. I have a couple of Della bays coming to me, and I'll retire a couple other models and just put them up on the wall. I've decided to not sell my old rods and just kind of retire them to the wall. I don't know. I've come in all my years of ice fishing. There's been some rods that I've let go that I wish I wouldn't have, and one of them happens to be the original Dave Gann's Berkeley Lightning rod.
I can't get rid of my rods. I get attached to them.
Yeah, and I'm not really I just want to kind of collect them, because they're getting pretty high tech. I going back to that Dave Gann's Lightning rod. I remember when that came out, it was like $27. It was the most expensive ice rod on the market. This was back in probably I'd say mid to late 90s. And that was one of the most expensive rods that you could buy, ice fishing rod. Yeah. Yeah. And it's come a long way, man.
Oh yeah. You can
And now
spend
you're
hundreds.
now you're like, oh, it's 80. That's a great deal. $80.
Yeah. That is a good, for the longer rods, right? Because a lot of people have started to move towards the 32 plus inch rods for ice fishing. If you see those for under 100, anything 32 plus, at least double look. And that's a heck of a deal.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I know. Yeah. That whole long rod trend. I mean, it's kind of interesting. I'm still a shack guy. Even if it's 20 above, I like to sit down. I like to throw the cover over top, I like to just feel cozy. And it's kind of like me and my love affair with lead jigs. They're getting harder and harder to find. So are rods 30 inches and under.
Right.
So all you custom rod builders out there, there's a little bit of a market for that still. But there are a lot more guys that are out there running around without the shacks because our ice suits are so good. You're basically wearing your shelter.
Right. So my wife ice fishes with me a lot. And so I have to bring the house out. But I like to hole hop. I love to hole hop. I like to move with the fish. So what I do is I set up the house as kind of a base camp.
Yeah. Well, you pop up, right?
Yeah, I've got a pretty good size hub.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and those hubs too, those allow you to fish a lot longer rods.
Oh yeah.
I know the other night I made a message. Elliot, their Evolution series. Mm-hmm. They have a 42. I think it's a 42 or a 44-inch noodle that's new this year, and I've got one of those coming to me, but that's for open water. That's for my float tube. Yeah. Those the 40 plus inches are perfect for that float tube. So I don't, like I said, I fish out of a wide one, just a one man, and I can't fish a 32 makes a little sound as it goes, as the hook set happens. But I can manage, so.
Yeah, but with the 6-footer, you won't even be able, that would be a pain to net it.
6-footer? What are you talking about, 6-footer?
Like in your float tube?
Oh, yeah, I still use 7-foot rods every
Do
once
you?
in a while. Yeah, yeah. I'm just sitting in a chair.
True.
The behind the reel seat, the butt section, that can be a little long sometimes, but for the most part, it's all right. The one thing that is kind of hard to do is fly cast, because you are sitting down. So I was going to get out and do a little practicing this fall with the old fly casting, bring a folding chair and sit down and practice, because that's the majority of what I'll be doing. And 40 mile an hour winds this last week, that wasn't going to happen. I'm not ready for that yet.
That's one thing that keeps going is the wind around here.
Yeah.
Get a few good days of calm and Bemidji will freeze up.
Yeah. Justin, how did the big buck contest go?
It's still going on.
Okay.
I mean,
Are you going to extend that all the way through to
December 12th?
December 12th?
Yep. End of muzzleloader season.
Okay.
So it's a gun deer hunting contest. Right now we got a 164 in the lead. and a 154.
Those are inches, right?
Yep, inches of rack.
Yep. I'm not much of a hunter, but I kind of know. So
Yeah.
bear with me.
So there's been a few deer shot that I know of. It's, I've scored a few, but, yeah, something different. I wanted to put together a contest where the weight didn't determine the big buck. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
when I think of a big buck, it's a monster rack. That's
yeah,
a
the
big
horn.
Yep.
Horns. How about you got any? You don't have to give out any spoilers or anything like that. Do you have anything up your sleeve for this winter for us ice fishermen? Any sort of like league or contest or anything like that?
Just kicking around the league, ice fishing league. I just don't know exactly how I want to play it. I mean, I don't want to I'm still kicking around. I want to make it different than most.
Okay. I have a few ideas. We'll talk once the machine's turned off. I'm an outside the box thinker, so I can come up with some pretty crazy shit from time to time. I'll throw it out there and see what you think.
That was kind of one thing we thought of was maybe, lake for the week and species for the week.
Yeah.
And you just draw them out and go, this is what we're fishing.
That's what we're fishing, or that's what.
And you forget the whole week.
If you want to be in the contest, this is what you're going to want to do.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be kind of interesting.
So I said we're kicking around a few things, and we got to get on it now because it's coming. But definitely need safe ice before we start sending people out.
Oh yeah, all the social medias are flooded with all the infographics on safe ice, which is a good thing. It's a good reminder.
Mm-hmm.
I always get a little sketched out, and I've talked about this before, is the whole late ice thing. After walking on it all winter, you kind of become complacent. I've been out here a million times, and late ice always kind of freaks me out because
when you drill a hole and the water comes up on the top of the ice and goes right back through it.
Yeah, or you're walking out, you can see old holes that were 8 inches and now they're 2.5 feet and getting bigger by the hour.
Yeah.
So first ice for you guys, primarily chasing down the panfish, right?
Walleyes.
Walleyes. Okay.
Yep.
All right. What do you usually where do you usually start targeting walleyes first ice?
First
Everybody
ice?
talks about first ice and panfish. You're about the first guy I've talked to about first ice walleyes.
So, each lake is different, but usually they're up shallow. They tend to have kind of their spring tendencies right now, right?
So that 6 to 8, 4 to 6, 4 to 8 foot. 4 is probably a little shallow.
I was marking some in 5 yesterday.
Okay.
But I was also marking them out in 12 feet of water yesterday too. So
okay.
I like to find kind of get on top of the shelf there, or on top of the break, and find where it goes to a shelf, kind of hang out around there.
Okay.
They still do move up and down. They do that all year, right? So, but yeah, I don't go deeper than like 12 to 14 this time of year would be the deepest I would go for a couple weeks yet.
Edit that one out.
With the exception of one lake that I do fish, where once it does get safe ice, they will be out in 26 feet of water in 2 weeks.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I was actually trying to hold on a second. Oh, this damn winter and the dry. I woke every morning now for like the last week. Wake up and my mouth feels like a litter box.
Yeah.
My sinuses are all jammed up, so the mouth is just wide open. Usually I do the first ice, I do panfish. This year, talking with my buddy and stuff, like kind of want to sight fish perch. Have either of you guys ever done that? First ice?
First ice, I can't say I have.
Not first ice. I was sight fishing them in spear holes and stuff, but
right. Because I've heard you can sight fish them. That 6 to 8 feet of water. In clear lakes, weed beds. You can sight fish them. I thought about giving it a shot. Maybe at the lake down the road here. Old Plantain Jeanette.
Some nice ones being caught this summer, I know.
Going
to be on a roll, I think, this year.
I can tell you that lake has giant perch in it, but even early ice out there, I tend to find them. Once that lake does freeze, that lake freezes just before Bemidji does, really.
Yeah.
On the north side. The south side you can get out on, but on the north side, when I can finally get out there, they're usually out pretty far already.
Already, yeah.
I mean, yeah, they do move out shallow, but it's usually after dark.
Okay, interesting. That could be fun.
Or right around dark, but...
Again, man, I'm going on like the third year where I just want to catch a giant perch without having to head west. Whether that be, the Sloughs or Devil's Lake or Cascade. I kind of want to do it here. Because there's some big perch to be caught around Bemidji area here.
There's giants.
Yeah.
I mean, the biggest I caught last winter was 16.5 inches.
Oh.
So, but we caught plenty over 15, probably dozen and a half over 15 last year.
Yeah. And one thing I've learned chasing perch, got to have some sort of, snow machine or four-wheeler. In my experience anyway, usually those big perch, bigger lakes, and you got to be able to work it. And that's where I'm at a disadvantage.
Yeah, and when you're reeling up the perch, especially later in the year when you're out deeper, take your time.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they're air bigs. They blow out so easy.
Yeah, barotrauma or whatever they call it.
Yeah, take your time.
Yeah, I've actually kind of changed over the years some of my crappie fishing. If they're out deep, I pay attention to where they're suspended at, and if they're suspended and it's still too deep or I'm not comfortable with it, I just won't fish them.
Yeah, I mean
it's a tough call.
A lot of people will not target fish below 30 feet a lot of the times, and perch, honestly, even 20 feet they can. If you just crank them up, you better keep it.
Yeah, that's where I like to. I still use a 1-to-1 or a 2-to-1, like the Spooler Elite reel. That's a 2-to-1. I still use that in deep water. That 1-to-1. I can pull line off faster than a bale can cough it out.
Right.
And it's just gonna sink however heavy the jig is. So I mean, I can strip out plenty of line, plenty fast enough. So. But me personally, I just feel that 1-to-1 ratio prevents that burning them up.
Yeah, it kind of gives me a knot in my stomach when I go out and I see I've seen sunfish or perch underneath the ice early in the year, even once they are out in 20+ feet.
Yeah.
Because some of them should have been kept that I've seen too, right? So. But take your time. So I tend to run a little bit higher drag when I'm setting the hook, and I do turn it down when I have the fish on.
Gotcha. Justin, what are you doing over there, man? He's a man of 1,000 words. Oh, the Black Friday sale. You got that information?
Yeah, finally.
Here we go.
So I got that $50 gift card, $10 free, 20% off. All blind stands, chairs, 15% off in-stock electronics, 20% off all gift items, including ridgetop gear, excluding maps.
Okay.
25% off summer clothes, 20% off in-stock game cams, and buy $50 in ice products, get $5 gift card.
Nice.
So that's, Black Friday stuff, and then there's some sales throughout all the way to Christmas.
Awesome. Dang, boys. You guys kind of got me a little bit more fired up for ice fishing. At the same time, I just placed an order for some really cool tungsten beads in a shape that I've never seen before. When I get them, Justin, I'll bring them down. Because you tie up jigs yourself. Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, I saw the working bench. Kind of jealous. I like your organization there.
It's getting started. I got a few tied up, but I'm gonna have them in store, of course. It's the only place you'll be able to get them.
And in prior to Ridgetop, I mean, you still have your tackle company if you want to drop the name.
10 Lakes Tackle.
10 Lakes Tackle. Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess in-store stuff is things coming in every day. I got P3s. I got Larson's quality jigs, just some random stuff that I've wanted to pick up and bring in because of the Minnesota stuff, and 2B rods just came in. Haven't even got them on the shelf yet. So
nice. Man, I like that. Minnesota stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That could be a cool tagline. We have Minnesota stuff. I'm telling you, winter's here.
Right?
Sneeze once and then the faucet begins. Unbelievable. Oh, man, I have just started my long weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I get tomorrow half day.
Tomorrow half day.
Tomorrow.
Are you open tomorrow?
Yeah, we're open till noon. We're going to just kind of be putzing around. I mean, I got a bunch of things to get ready for winter.
All right.
Get some stuff on the shelves, so I figured might as well have the doors open while we're here.
Well, being that you're open tomorrow, that's when I'll drop this tomorrow morning. I don't have to get up for work now until Monday morning. So if I stay up all night, that's fine.
Hey.
Yeah, it will be. I said I got minnow tanks to clean and get ready for winter. You know, you can't clean them when they're full of minnows.
Right. Well, let's hit on that. What's your minnow situation?
All right, now it's looking like Friday. I get my minnows in. I got some in stock, but it's same thing. Waiting on good ice to pull traps, and
Right.
you know you can't drive your four-wheeler to the hole or whatever. You know, you gotta wait. So, but it'll be here hopefully by the weekend, guys. Friday at noon, I should have them if all goes according to plan.
Yeah, the Minnesota waiting game.
Yep, that's why I said cleaning tanks and stuff is because you do it on first ice, and you do it when the ice is melting and you can't get out fishing no more.
It's the perfect time to do it, man.
Yeah.
Perfect time to do it. You said Nate, you're all organized and ready to go for ice fishing then?
I'm ready to go. I don't know that organized is the best term to be using. But
I know before I hit record and lit up the microphones here, we were kind of chatting. And years ago, a buddy of mine, Matt Brewer.
Yep.
He, I don't know if I was at his place or we were talking on the phone and we were talking about that kind of stuff. And he got into the habit of late ice when he puts his gear away. He spends that afternoon, spooling up and organizing and puts it away. So next winter, first ice, he basically just grabs his stuff, put it in the truck, and he's done. He's ready to go. And I've actually picked up that habit. It's kind of nice. Not scrambling around looking for everything that's been spread out.
I mean, I have everything in the sled. It's just not, I wouldn't say it's necessarily easy to find it.
Oh gosh. Well, boys, I'm as ready as I'll ever be, I guess, for the old ice fishing. Like I said, it's what's the date today? The
23rd.
24th.
Oh,
24th.
24th, my mistake.
Yeah, 24th. So I'm hoping to get out probably the weekend of December 11th. I think that's what I'm going to first get out there.
So, Dick Beardsley was in here today, and he said his logbook said November 30th is when Bemidji froze over last year.
Okay.
So,
see, and that's why I was asking you, Nate. Like when I go to work in the morning, it's pitch black.
Yep.
When I come home, it's pretty dim, and you can't really tell if it's, we've got waves or if there's ice out there. So I'm clueless. So I'm kind of excited to see Lake Bemidji during daylight hours.
it did say the lake's 28 degrees. I seen a post at 28 degrees. So.
Oh, the surface temp?
Yep. As soon as we get some calm days, it's done. It'll be froze over.
Right.
So.
Whew, that's some cold water.
Yeah.
I have a buddy that he took his flow tube headed down to Tennessee, and he was putting pictures up, and that got me really missing my flow tube already. Hopefully I can shed a few more pounds so I can get some insulated waders so I can get after it right after the ice bails out on. I'm set up. I'm ready for that. Like there again, the float tube, all the summer stuff, it's organized, it's ready to go. So,
There's still some people out there that just won't let go of open water fishing, though. Right between the channel there, between Bemidji and Irvin yesterday, there was somebody out in waders fishing.
Yeah.
When I went out.
I don't know that you'd get a whole lot there. It's not very deep. Which, hey, speaking of, I'm going to ask both you guys this. You know, with the crazy drought that we had this summer, any concerns about some, you don't have to name any bodies of, you know, little ponds or anything like that. Are you concerned about, you know, winter kill with the super low water?
No more than usual. We did get a lot of moisture this fall, though.
I don't think it was enough to make up.
I don't know that it raised it that much, but, I mean, there's always lakes every year, right?
Right. I'm just talking because this summer, some of these lakes were 3 feet low.
Well, some of the lakes, there's quite a few lakes where they closed the accesses down on, right? Because people were busting axles off their trailer or...
The big washouts from power loading.
You couldn't even launch your boat at some of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think for me, my biggest thing is worrying about next spring for minnows. I mean, you got these ponds that are minnows and leeches, so you got these ponds that lost 3 feet of water. And
they were probably 5 feet to begin with.
Right. Well, they're going to freeze out, and some of the leech ponds are gone.
You're completely dried up, I suppose.
So it's going to be interesting. Kind of predicting a hike in price, but I don't know for sure, but that's just kind of my feeling on where it's headed with if they do freeze out, you're not going to have as many.
I suppose that price goes up the further they got to travel to find the stuff.
And being Minnesota is only, you can't cross borders.
Right.
With minnows, so you can't go buy from Wisconsin and bring them back.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Not legally, no.
No, if that was the case, minnow prices would be a lot lower because you'd have more sources. You wouldn't have to fight.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
And in February, you wouldn't have trouble finding shiners. Even in January, you wouldn't.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, that's something to think about. Yeah, see, the only time I get minnows is burbot season, and I'll probably bug you for the dead ones. So keep a pail of dead ones come around February. I know I don't even waste time with live minnows for burbot. And I had that conversation at work with a guy. We were talking about that whole thing, and I said over the years it's kind of dawned on me, like, why am I buying live minnows when you're just pinching the heads off anyway? You know, it was like it's like ordering a cheeseburger just to get a hamburger. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. The majority of the time, you're just pinching the heads off and put them on a spoon. Mm-hmm. You know, there are the your dead sticks and stuff like that, but like even shiners, man, you put a hook through them and they gone.
I mean, you do the same thing walleye fishing in the winter too, right? Like dead stick and then something with just a minnow head on there making movement, whether it's a rattle bait or a spoon or heck, even just a jig. Yeah. But
well, it kind of dawned on me a few years ago when fishing up on the Rainy River with Crafty, because we'd always just buy frozen shiners. Mm-hmm. You know, especially for the river, it didn't really pay to buy live ones, and we would then use the frozen shiners down here. Did great, especially with crappies.
Yeah, you could silver emerald shiners, perfect size.
You'd start with the head, put that on, and you're vertically jigging. All right, the head's gone. I'll just cut me a middle piece as long as there's something on there. Doesn't matter if it's a head or a tail, for the most part anyway. But yeah, so burbot season, I end up just bring out your dead because you're just going to impale them on a giant hook anyway.
It's fun stuff.
How do you burbot fish? Do you spend most of your time just hitting the bottom?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're hitting the bottom continuously.
Go pound sand.
Even if you threw a whole minnow on and you did that with a spoon or whatever you're using, that minnow's dead 2 minutes.
Oh, yeah. Well, actually, lately my burbot rig has been not the big nasty spoon, but the jig.
Yep.
Just the round ball jig. Because even the spoons, I take the treble hooks off and put bigger single hooks on there. Never had any problems or anything like that. I did lack, packing that thing full of minnows, but it didn't really seem to make too much of a difference. But now what I do is I will thread a whole dead minnow on, and then I kind of like mid hook, like right through the side of the body, an additional minnow. And if I've got room, sometimes I throw a little piece of plastic on there, like a curly tailed grub. I'm just basically just trying to bulk it out so they can find it. So it's in my cadence usually is, just like 2-3 pounds on the bottom, then lift and hold.
Yeah.
And, do that for a little bit. The one thing I can say is that a lot of the places I burbot fish, it's really tough to use like a Vexlar or a traditional flasher.
Muddy?
No, it's usually super sharp breaks and you end up with 2 bottom reeds.
Okay.
Because, your cone is hitting like 30 foot and then, 5 yards or 10 yards away, it's hitting at 50 feet.
Right.
So it kind of reads like 2 bottoms. So that's where it's nice to have something like a Helix or a Garmin, and you could put it on the open water mode and you can see them sitting on the bottom. You'll see a nice flat line and you'll see like a lump. I'm like, oh, there's a burbot there.
Speaking of big nasty, they come out with some
new colors.
Orange and pink, neon green.
Yeah.
So
interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll be carrying them too. So
yeah, we're a long ways from burbot. You can run into them here now that the ice is formed and the water's cold. Run into them here and there, but I usually I start looking late January, mid-February. That's when I usually start, somewhere around there.
Yeah, you'd have a really tough time right now trying to find them.
Yeah,
no, they're probably...
Talked to a couple guys that said they fished last year. They fished them all winter long.
Yeah.
They was just had to get on them and follow them.
Yeah, and there's not as many. They're not all congregated, together. They're kind of onesie twosies here and there.
Right, and you'd be open water right now out in the boat for burbot.
Yeah, which Jason Rylander's done that.
Yeah.
Him and Durham went out when I was like, this was a few years ago. It would have been either late October or early November, somewhere in there. And they went out and intentionally open water fish burbot, and they got a couple. So, and he divulged that, they were pretty much where you'd find them the first time you go burbot fishing through the ice. 30, 40, 50 feet of water, somewhere in there. 30 to 50 feet. Same tackle, too. Big nasty spoon or a big jig. Glow in the dark, bunch of minnows, and just pound, hold. Said it was a lot easier to move around because he didn't have to drill any holes.
That would make it a lot easier.
Yes, it would. And I've been on some burbot bites where you do have to move around. You got to find where they're traveling. Once you find that spot where they're all, it seems like where, a few are traveling, the others will follow.
That's it.
And it's usually a narrow band, so you got to, sometimes I get lucky and I hit it. And I'm like, oh, yeah, burbot. Okay, cool. This is where they're traveling. There's been other times I've had to move around a little bit.
Follow them like you do the crappies.
Not as much, because usually where you catch 1 or 2, you're pretty good at just, pretty much staying right there. And you'll get them, ones and twosies.
Kind of, I suppose, I think it's the same theory as sturgeon fishing.
Kind of, yeah.
Where they're bottom feeder and they got that scent rubbing right on the bottom, and the next one feels it or smells it and follows up that same trail.
Yep.
If you get in a spot where I've been sturgeon fishing and I cast at the same distance, hit that spot, and every time you'll catch one, and nobody else in the boat will catch one. It's just because of that scent trail.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I would assume that burbot's, that's what I'm talking about, is that path that they're traveling at that time. It's the same type of deal. If you can find that where they're traveling, you're usually pretty good to go.
Well, they mostly hunt with scent and sound, right? They don't have the best eyesight.
No, they don't. Their eyesight's probably a little bit better than mine, which mine isn't all that great anymore. I had to go up when I was tying up some jigs the other day. I realized that my little cheaters, I was at 1 power. I need to go up to like 1.5 or 1 3/4. So that was unsettling.
So my dad, he said the same. He's like, looks at these little new tungsten jigs and goes, I can't tie one of those on my line.
You know what? Because of that, and because of my new exploration into fly tying, I actually picked up a really cool tool from CNF. They're a big fly fishing company. This is a really neat thing. It's nippers, and then you can fold out the end, and it's got a little threader for threading your. You push the wire loop through the eye of your jig, drop your mono through that wire loop, pull it through.
Okay.
And it threads it through for you, all in one right there. I was like, hell yeah, because I was looking at my threader for my bobbin, and I was like, man, I don't want to. I know I'm gonna lose this, but it'd be really nice to have out on the ice, And then I found that tool, and it was like $25 for this pair of nippers. Oh, and it's got an eye buster on there too. I'll have to bring it in sometime and show you.
Look into that.
But I'm noticing that, especially for ice fishing, it's not that different from fly fishing. You're using little micro jigs and size 12, 14, 10 size hooks. They're pretty much, a lot of our ice fishing jigs look like Euro nymph jigs that they use for Euro nymphing. Mm-hmm. And matter of fact, I actually have on order, besides those beads, another hook out tool that's really cool. It's made by Loon. And I have a T2 toothpick. It's all right. I have the unhook 'em. Works all right. This tool, it's got a long stainless steel shaft, and at the end of it, to describe it best, it almost looks kind of like a hockey stick, except it's a tube with a slit in the side. So you put that line through that slit and you slide down, and now you've got this tube, and you just push forward or push back, and it'll pop that jig out. And it comes right out with it. It's kind of a neat tool, but I'm finding a lot of these tools could be very handy for ice fishing. There's a little bit of a crossover over there, especially like, fly fishermen got these neck lanyards where they keep their hook outs and their floating and all that stuff. Like, that'd be kind of a nice tool to have to, just throw it over your neck, and you've got all your little tools right here. So I'm kind of finding some stuff like that. It's kind of neat. We'll see how it works, but I'll bring in those nippers for you and show it to you. Okay, they're a little bit expensive, and the whole nipper thing, like, you can get 99-cent nail clippers, or you can get Able makes one that's $175. It's all anodized and
nail clippers.
Well, they're line clippers, but they look like big, wide nail clippers. Like, if you had toenails that did fit under that, you'd be in the Guinness Book of World Record. They're probably 1.25 inches wide, but they're all anodized. And even Sims makes a nipper that's, I don't know, it's like $60. It's crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy. But no, I should do a little post about some of this fly fishing crossover stuff that I've come across. There's some handy tools out there, I think, that us ice fishermen could take away from that the fly fishing game, for sure. Well, what do you figure, boys? Got anything else? Why don't you pimp your guide service? It'd be a good time for that.
I don't have a guide service.
I thought you were guiding. You were doing.
No.
Was that only open water?
No, I don't guide at all. I just take people out for fun.
Well, that's okay. He's a free guide, everybody.
I just take people out for fun.
Pimp your socials, bud. And what is your role here at Ridgetop Outdoors?
I am an ambassador, so I help spread the word about Ridgetop here, and help by giving them some fishing reports, some ice reports, some hunting reports.
Cool.
We got our RP Broadcasting. We got like a magazine or a newspaper.
Yep.
Digital. And then he's submitted. Anybody can do it. Go on to the deal and submit your stories. And
okay.
So you tell a story about hunting or fishing, and
okay,
gets kind of people into. Everybody reads it, and we advertise there and whatever. So
All right. Last time I looked, you got a website. Is that are you up and or are you still working on it a little bit more?
I just talked the other day that we need to put something on there. It's nothing right now, but eventually we're going to have our online store. And
Yeah, that stuff takes time.
It's just, work in progress. That's for sure.
I know I was thinking about a website for the podcast. And I've never built a website, so I was just going to do like a Wix or a Squarespace or something like that. And I just need to block out that time and figure that out, exactly what I want to do with it. But sometimes things don't need to be rushed.
Oh, yeah, definitely. There's other things to get, just like, next year I want to have bore sighting and scope mounting, and there's a need for it. People have been asking about it, but I just couldn't get the right products that I wanted, and so I just said I'm going to wait.
Yep. No sense in rushing it.
Yeah, it'll come.
Rushing it. Get it? A little bit of play on words there. But, yeah, man, I think we should wrap it up. I'm dog tired. How about you? Look tired, Justin.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. He says, as Brittany's going to drive home, and he'll be like me, mouth wide open, sawing logs.
Yeah, otherwise, I mean, for coming up this winter, going to Red, whatever, if people down in the cities, we're right at the corner of Highway 2 and 71, and
it's a perfect spot.
Yeah, there's gas here, there's propane, it's everything you need for a one-stop, the bait. We're right in the same parking lot, so.
Yep. Yeah, they have killer breakfast sandwiches next door.
They actually do. Very good.
And today was a treat because I stopped there this morning, and instead of croissants, they had biscuits.
What?
Yeah, it's a rarity, dude. I've hit it a couple times this winter, and I'm like, hey, this needs to happen more often.
Mini donuts today.
Mini donuts.
Right after must have been your shift through. Yep. And they were putting out hot mini donuts and
bastards. That's all I need. We loaded up for Thanksgiving there at work. One of the guys volunteered, and he made a prime rib. We had mashed potatoes, corn, salad, pies from Perkins. Needless to say, I'm good till Saturday.
Yeah, I do kind of miss that meals, the little meals at
little perk
Glacier.
Meals and stuff. Yeah.
They were good. It was fun.
It sounds so good.
It was pretty phenomenal. Yeah, it was pretty good stuff. So, all right, guys. Well, thanks for hopping on. Is there anything else before we go?
Oh, it's just what I want to, tell them that we're here. So
yes.
Yeah, and Red is opening very soon.
Yeah.
2 days. There's one spot that I'll be letting people out. So, and
all
maybe
right.
more.
Yeah. Oh boy!
Don't rush it.
No,
there'll be ice coming. So
yeah, we've got a long winter ahead. So, all right, guys, thanks for listening,
Thank you.
We'll talk to y'all later.